Let me tell you something that sounds absolutely insane, but is completely true. If you start investing just $1 a day right now, you could have over $13,000 by 2030. And if you can bump that up to $5 a day, you're looking at over $65,000. Most people think you need thousands to start building wealth, but that's exactly the lie that keeps 90% of people broke. The truth is, it's not about the amount you start with. It's about starting at all. I'm not just some random person on the internet telling you this. I've built multiple businesses from nothing, and I've seen firsthand how small, consistent actions compound into life-changing results. So let's break down exactly how you can transform $1 a day into real financial freedom by 2030. First, you need to understand the power of what I call micro-investing. This is the secret weapon that nobody talks about because it doesn't sound sexy. Everyone wants to hear about the guy who turned $1,000 into $1 million overnight with some crypto trade. But that's not reality for 99% of people. The real wealth is built by people who understand that $1 today is worth way more than $1 tomorrow if you invest it correctly. Let me show you the math that will blow your mind. If you invest $1 per day starting today, that's $365 per year. Seems tiny, right? But here's where it gets interesting. If you put that into an index fund that averages 10% annual returns, which is what the S&P 500 has done for the past century, then by 2030, you'll have around $2,300. Not bad for spare change. But wait, it gets better. If you increase that to just $3 per day, the cost of a coffee, you're looking at $6,900 by 2030. And if you can manage $5 per day, which is less than most people spend on lunch, you'll have over $11,500. That's a deposit on a house in some areas. That's a car paid in cash. That's breathing room in your life. Now I know what you're thinking. Where am I supposed to find this money? I'm already broke by the end of the month. And that's exactly the problem. You're not broke because you don't earn enough. You're broke because you're not paying attention to where your money goes. Let me tell you about Sarah. She came to me saying she couldn't afford to invest a single dollar, so I asked her to track every single purchase for 1 week, just 1 week. She came back shocked. She'd spent $47 on things she couldn't even remember buying. Random snacks, app subscriptions she forgot about, impulse purchases at the checkout. That's nearly $200 a month on absolute nonsense. Once she saw it in black and white, she cut out the waste and suddenly had $5 a day to invest. That's the first step. You need to find your invisible money. This is the cash that's leaking out of your life without you even noticing. Here's how you do it. For the next 7 days, write down every single thing you spend money on. And I mean everything. That chocolate bar at the petrol station, that streaming service you haven't used in months, that extra round of drinks you bought because you felt awkward saying no. All of it. At the end of the week, add it up and divide by 7. That's your daily waste number. For most people, it's between $5 and $15. That's your investment fund right there. You're not finding new money. You're just redirecting money you were already spending on things that add zero value to your life. The second step is to automate everything. This is crucial because willpower is a myth. You cannot rely on yourself to manually invest every single day. You'll forget. You'll make excuses. You'll convince yourself that you need that money for something else. That's why you need to set up automatic transfers that happen without you thinking about it. Most investment apps now let you set up daily, weekly, or monthly automatic investments. I personally recommend weekly because it's frequent enough to build the habit but not so frequent that it becomes annoying. So if you're investing $1 per day, set up a $7 weekly transfer. If it's $5 per day, make it $35 per week. The key is to schedule this transfer for the day after you get paid. That way, the money disappears before you even see it sitting in your account, tempting you to spend it. I learned this the hard way. When I first started investing, I'd tell myself I'd do it at the end of the month with whatever was left over. Guess what? There was never anything left over. It wasn't until I automated everything that my wealth actually started growing. Now let's talk about where to put this money, because just saving it in a bank account is basically throwing it away. With inflation running at 3 to 4% per year, your money is losing value just sitting there. That's why you need to invest it in something that grows faster than inflation eats it. The simplest and safest option for most people is an index fund. This is basically a collection of hundreds or thousands of different companies all bundled together. When you buy into an index fund, you're not betting on one company to succeed. You're betting on the entire economy to grow over time, which it historically always has. The most popular index fund is the S&P 500, which tracks the 500 biggest companies in America. Companies like Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, and Google. Over the past 100 years, it's averaged about 10% returns per year. Some years it's up 20%. Some years it's down 10%. But over the long term, it always trends upward. That's the power of time in the market. And the best part is you don't need to know anything about stocks or finance to invest in an index fund. You just buy it and forget about it. No stress, no checking charts every day, no trying to time the market. Just consistent, boring wealth building. Now, if you want to accelerate your results, here's what you need to do. Every time you get a raise, a bonus, or any unexpected money, split it. Half goes to enjoying your life right now, and half goes straight into your investment account. This is how you scale from $1 a day to $10 a day without it feeling painful. Let me give you an example. Let's say you get a $2,000 bonus at work. Most people would blow the entire thing on a holiday or a new TV. But if you take $1,000 and invest it while spending the other $1,000 on something fun, you get the best of both worlds. You enjoy the present and you secure your future. This is the balance that most people never figure out. They either save everything and feel miserable, or they spend everything and stay broke forever. The smart move is to do both. Enjoy some of your money now, but always pay your future self first. Here's another strategy that most people overlook. It's called the side dollar method. This is where you find ways to earn an extra dollar a day instead of cutting your spending. Maybe you sell stuff you don't use anymore on Facebook Marketplace. Maybe you do 1 extra hour of freelance work per week. Maybe you return bottles for the deposit money. It sounds small, but remember, we're not trying to get rich overnight. We're building a system that compounds over time. 1 extra dollar per day is $365 per year. Invested at 10%, that's an extra $2,300 by 2030. And here's the beautiful part. Once you start seeing your investment account grow, even by just a few $100s, something clicks in your brain. You start to see money differently. You stop seeing it as something to spend and start seeing it as something to multiply. That mindset shift is worth more than any investment return because it changes your behavior permanently. Let me tell you about the biggest mistake people make with micro-investing. They start strong for a few months, see their account sitting at $150 and think it's not worth it, so they stop. Or worse, they pull the money out to buy something stupid. This is exactly why most people never build wealth. They quit right before the magic happens, because here's the thing about compound growth. It starts slow, almost painfully slow, but then it explodes. In the first year, your $1 per day might only grow to $400. In year 2, maybe $850. But by year 5, you're looking at over $2,400. And by year 10, it's over $6,600. The growth accelerates because you're earning returns not just on your contributions, but on all the previous returns too. That's compound interest, and it's the closest thing to magic that exists in finance. Now let's talk about the psychological game. Because investing $1 a day isn't really about the money. It's about building the habit of thinking like an investor instead of a consumer. Every time you choose to invest instead of spend, you're training your brain to delay gratification. You're proving to yourself that you can control your impulses. You're becoming the type of person who builds wealth instead of the type who stays broke. And that identity shift is priceless. I've seen people start with $1 a day, and within 2 years they're investing $50 a day because they've completely rewired how they think about money. They've gone from "I can't afford to invest" to "I can't afford not to invest." That's the transformation that changes everything. So here's your action plan. Today, right now, open an investment app. I don't care which one. Just pick one and create an account. Then set up an automatic weekly transfer of $7. That's $1 per day. If you can do more, great. But start with $1 if that's all you can manage. The amount doesn't matter as much as the habit. Next, choose a simple index fund like the S&P 500 and set your transfers to automatically buy into it every week. Then, and this is the most important part, forget about it. Don't check it every day. Don't panic when the market dips. Don't try to time when to buy or sell. Just let it sit there and grow quietly in the background while you focus on increasing your income and finding more money to invest. By 2030, you'll have built something real. Not just money, but proof that you can commit to a goal and see it through. And that's worth more than any dollar amount.